Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you went in there? Or struggled to recall the name of a familiar face, only to remember it hours later? These small slips might feel innocent, or even just a normal part of getting older. Yet for many adults over 65, dismissing these mild memory lapses could mean missing out on crucial opportunities to maintain a healthy brain and stay mentally sharp for years to come. It's important to understand that what seems like a harmless senior moment can actually be an early warning sign of something bigger brewing beneath the surface. And here's the good news. When addressed properly, many of these concerns can be managed, slowed down, or in some cases, substantially improved. One of the most common challenges people face after 65 is not knowing the difference between normal aging memory issues and those worth paying closer attention to. Part of this confusion stems from outdated assumptions that memory decline is inevitable, or that if you experience slight forgetfulness, there's nothing you can really do about it. Unfortunately, that misconception stops so many from taking early steps that could preserve or even enhance their cognitive abilities. Failing to act or brushing off these lapses can heighten the risk of more serious memory problems down the road, making once simple tasks feel overwhelmingly complex. Addressing this issue goes beyond just not forgetting things. Taking steps now helps you sustain your independence, emotional well-being, and sense of control. Seniors who remain proactive about their brain health often report feeling more confident and engaged in everyday life. Imagine confidently recalling names and tasks, staying socially active, and having the mental clarity to continue enjoying hobbies. These are all benefits that become possible when you take even mild memory lapses seriously and respond to them with informed action. Today, we're going to walk through 4 key points that will transform the way you view and handle mild memory slips. First, we'll look at why ignoring these warning signs can be risky for your overall health. Next, we'll clear up the misconceptions about what's normal versus what may signal the start of bigger challenges. Then we'll explore how new, engaging habits and even small lifestyle tweaks can boost memory and sharpen your mind. Finally, we'll bring it all together with practical strategies that blend physical and mental exercises, giving you a clearer plan of action. I've spent years reviewing emerging insights in senior health, talking with people who've successfully navigated cognitive changes, and learning from professionals in aging and memory research. While I'm not here to replace one-on-one medical care, I've observed patterns and outcomes that will be valuable to anyone aiming to stay alert and independent as the years go by. Think of me as a well-informed guide, here to share what's working for others and how you can adapt it to your own life. As you follow along, I encourage you to reflect on your personal experiences or those of your friends and family. Have you ever hesitated to bring up memory concerns with a loved one? Do you sometimes push aside your own lapses as not a big deal? Keep those moments in mind because the practical suggestions we'll discuss will fit naturally into your daily routine. Let's take a closer look at why ignoring mild memory lapses after 65 is more than just a small oversight. You'll discover that by changing how you approach these moments, you can lay a strong foundation for a sharper, healthier mind, today and into the future. Before we dive deeper, I invite you to think about one memory slip you experienced recently. Perhaps you lost track of your keys or forgot an important phone call. Hold that example in mind as we explore our first point and see which strategies might help you next time. By the end of our conversation, you'll be equipped with a fresh perspective and a toolkit of simple actions you can use to address and even overcome those mild lapses in a meaningful way. So let's begin with our first transformative idea, the hidden danger of brushing off those little memory slips and why this habit needs to change. The first thing many of us do when we notice a bit of forgetfulness is laugh it off or say, "Oh, it's just another senior moment." This reaction is common and understandable. After all, if it's not profoundly affecting your daily routine, why worry? But it's exactly that casual attitude that can become a significant risk factor over time. One misconception many people hold is that there's no real harm in ignoring mild forgetfulness as long as it doesn't disrupt everyday life. But memory experts and geriatric specialists have seen that these minor blips can sometimes be early indicators of subtle changes in the brain's processing. Consider the story of Howard, a 68-year-old retiree who prided himself on his sharp wit and excellent memory for detail. Over a few months, Howard started noticing little slip-ups. He'd walk into a grocery store and forget half the items he intended to buy, despite making a mental list, or he'd misplace his reading glasses a couple of times a week. Initially, he shrugged these moments off, but as they grew more frequent, Howard became increasingly frustrated. He still didn't mention anything to his family or his doctor because these instances weren't that bad, just minor annoyances. What Howard didn't realize is that mild memory changes can sometimes be the first clue the brain offers that it's under strain, whether from unmanaged stress, hormonal shifts, nutritional deficits, or even the early stages of a more serious cognitive issue. In Howard's case, stress and disrupted sleep were compounding the problem. When he finally talked to his healthcare provider, he learned that several small yet powerful adjustments, like committing to a set bedtime routine and using a simple daily planner, could make a significant difference. Had he continued ignoring the signs, he might have risked creating a snowball effect where even more demanding tasks such as paying bills or planning travel became overwhelming. The key takeaway is that acknowledging these small lapses early and being open about them allows you to seek advice, make lifestyle adjustments, and keep track of any changes over time. In many cases, mild cognitive issues can be slowed or occasionally reversed with interventions that include better sleep, nutrition, and targeted mental exercises. Even if more serious issues eventually arise, early recognition can lead to better outcomes and treatment options. Practically speaking, the first step is to monitor patterns. When you notice forgetfulness, ask yourself, am I more tired than usual? Have I been managing my stress effectively? Have I been skipping meals or eating less balanced meals? You might keep a small journal where you jot down these lapses and any related factors, such as poor sleep the night before. This record can be an invaluable tool if and when you decide to share your concerns with a healthcare professional. Taking mild memory lapses seriously also yields emotional benefits. Instead of feeling alarmed by the unpredictability of forgetfulness, you shift to a proactive stance. This can alleviate anxiety because you'll have a sense of control. You've taken the first step in identifying an issue, and you're ready to address it. Sometimes the greatest barrier to this proactive approach is fear. We all dread the possibility of receiving bad news about our cognitive health. Yet ironically, staying in the dark can heighten those fears. By confronting mild memory lapses head-on, you're telling yourself that your well-being matters enough to warrant attention, no matter how small the changes may seem. If you're resonating with Howard's experience, or if you know someone who is, take a moment to pause and think about what minor memory slips you've noticed in the past week or month. Could something as straightforward as improving your sleep routine or adding a quick brain-friendly breakfast each day help you? Maybe it's time to start a simple log of memory lapses. The point is not to worry obsessively, but to observe patterns before they become big problems. Now let's transition into understanding the difference between normal age-related forgetfulness and signs that suggest something more serious, because that distinction is often where confusion and inaction tends to arise. We often hear people say, "Oh, you know how it is at our age?" Forgetfulness is just part of the deal. While it's true that some degree of slowed recall is perfectly normal as we grow older, lumping all forms of memory changes into that normal bucket can be a real disservice. One pervasive misconception is that everyone automatically undergoes the same level of memory decline after 65, and that nothing can be done to alter the course. This belief can be quite limiting, as it pushes many seniors to simply accept any and all lapses without further investigation. Take Maria, who is 71 and lives alone. She began mixing up times for social events, arriving an hour late to a friend's birthday party, or missing her weekly book club meeting altogether. At first she reasoned, "I'm getting older, so it's probably normal for me to forget a few details." But when her calendar mistakes caused her to lose track of a doctor's appointment, she grew concerned. As someone who always prided herself on punctuality, she realized this type of absent-mindedness felt out of character. After consulting with her primary care provider, Maria discovered that the root cause was partly a new medication that made her slightly drowsy in the afternoons, combined with the stress of taking on too many commitments. She decided to make changes, requesting a medication review to see if a different dosage might help, and cutting back on some obligations to reduce stress. This led to a noticeable improvement in her attentiveness. What Maria learned is that medication side effects, lifestyle stressors, and nutritional deficiencies can all masquerade as normal aging issues. When left unexamined, these factors can create a vicious cycle of frustration and self-doubt. From a more evidence-based perspective, geriatric specialists often talk about mild cognitive impairment, MCI, which is a clinical term describing memory or thinking problems that go beyond typical age-related changes but aren't severe enough to qualify as dementia. People with MCI can still function well in day-to-day life, yet they notice and often feel bothered by subtle lapses. Not everyone with MCI progresses to more serious conditions, especially if they adopt beneficial lifestyle strategies early. So, a mild memory problem doesn't automatically spell out an inevitable decline. Quite the contrary, knowledge and action can tip the scales in your favor. Here's a way to differentiate between typical forgetfulness and something that warrants closer attention. Ask yourself, does this lapse repeatedly disrupt my normal routine? Do I find myself unable to perform tasks I've always done before, like balancing a checkbook or following a recipe? Occasional trouble recalling a name might be more on the normal side, especially if it comes to you later. But getting lost on a route you've driven for years might be a sign to investigate further. Try using a simple rating system for each memory slip. On a scale from 1 to 5, how much does this lapse interfere with your day? If you regularly record higher ratings, 3, 4, or 5, on tasks you once did easily, it may be time to discuss your concerns with a healthcare professional. The benefits of raising these issues early include possible medication tweaks, dietary changes to fill in any nutritional gaps, or adopting mental exercises that specifically target weaker areas of cognition. Emotionally recognizing the difference between typical aging and concerning lapses frees you from the trap of blaming old age for everything. That mindset can be deflating. By pinpointing which issues truly need attention, you can focus on actionable solutions, and in doing so, maintain a stronger sense of self-efficacy. If you're following along and thinking, wait, I do occasionally miss my turn while driving, or I found myself searching for words more often, try the rating approach for a couple of weeks. Track how frequently these events happen and how much they disrupt your life. This data will clarify whether your experiences align more with normal aging or something that may require additional steps, like consulting your doctor or even exploring a memory care specialist. Now let's transition to a more encouraging concept, the power of new and engaging activities to not only stabilize, but potentially improve memory function. Because once you've recognized your memory lapses and distinguished whether they're run-of-the-mill or more serious, the next question becomes, what can I do about them? It's easy to assume that once memory starts slipping, the best you can do is slow the decline. While preventing further deterioration is indeed important, a misconception often held by older adults is that there's no point in learning or trying new things at an advanced age. I'm too old for that, or learning something new won't help me now, are common refrains. But neuroscience is increasingly showing that the aging brain remains adaptable, often referred to as plasticity. Engaging in new activities can forge fresh neural pathways, literally helping your mind stay sharp, and in some cases, even enhance performance in areas you thought were waning. Meet Gerald, age 73, who had never touched a musical instrument in his life. After noticing an uptick in his forgetful moments, he decided to enroll in a local beginner's piano class at his community center. He believed it would be a fun distraction and never really expected it to help his memory. Within a few weeks, Gerald found that he was recalling finger positions more easily and could follow sheet music without losing his place. Interestingly, he also reported fewer everyday memory lapses, like remembering where he left his wallet, something he attributed to his piano practice brain. There's a scientific basis for Gerald's experience. When you challenge your brain with novel tasks, be it learning an instrument, picking up a new language, or even trying new crafts, it requires your mind to forge connections between different regions. Memory, attention, and problem-solving circuits all get a workout. This heightened mental engagement can spill over into your daily life, boosting cognitive reserve and making it easier to manage routine tasks. Practically, you don't have to jump into a formal class if that feels intimidating or costly. Try something that sparks curiosity, perhaps a new puzzle app on your phone, an art project with your grandchildren, or even reading a genre of book you've never explored before. The key is to step outside your comfort zone, just a bit, and stay consistent. Regularly challenging yourself for even 20 or 30 minutes a day can provide an uplift in focus and recall. Aside from the mental benefits, engaging in new activities also brings emotional rewards. It combats the monotony and potential isolation that can creep in during later life, offering a sense of achievement and purpose. This is particularly true if you share these activities with friends or a community group. The social interaction can further enhance cognitive health. Human connection is a powerful buffer against stress and depression, both of which can negatively impact memory. If you've been considering a new hobby or skill, try writing down a short list of activities you've always been curious about. Then pick one that feels both interesting and feasible. Give yourself a fair chance. Commit to it for a few weeks. You might be surprised by how quickly your mood and alertness improve. Also, keep track of any shifts in your day-to-day memory lapses. This small experiment can help you see firsthand how staying mentally engaged can be a game changer. Now that we've discussed the benefits of engaging your brain in fresh ways, we'll move toward a more holistic perspective. How combining both mental and physical strategies can have a powerful, synergistic effect on keeping your mind sharp, especially after 65. When people talk about memory improvement, they often focus exclusively on brain games or crossword puzzles. While mental exercises are certainly beneficial, a common oversight is forgetting how integral the body is to brain health. There's a lingering myth that older adults have limited capacity to benefit from physical activity, or that it's unsafe to start new exercise routines after a certain age. In reality, moving your body in ways that suit your ability level can significantly enhance circulation, reduce inflammation, and improve overall health, factors that directly influence cognitive functioning. Look at Annette, a 76-year-old with mild knee pain. She believed exercise was off limits because of her aches and worried about making them worse. But she also noticed that her focus and memory weren't as sharp as they used to be. Encouraged by a friend, Annette began a gentle chair yoga class designed for seniors. Initially, she worried she'd feel self-conscious or aggravate her pain. To her surprise, the slow, supported movements helped reduce stiffness in her joints, and after a few weeks, she felt more energetic. Soon she found that staying alert throughout the day came more naturally, and she was remembering the small details, like picking up a greeting card for her niece, without writing it down. Scientists have observed that moderate physical activity increases blood flow to the brain, supporting the cells responsible for memory and attention. Even gentle routines such as walking, tai chi, or chair exercises can produce notable benefits, especially when done regularly. For seniors dealing with mobility limitations or chronic conditions, the key is to find safe, adaptable exercises. This might mean working with a physical therapist or joining a specialized senior fitness group where you can receive guidance on proper form and pacing. To get the most out of these physical approaches, pair them with mental strategies. For instance, if you enjoy walking, try practicing mindfulness as you stroll. Focus on the rhythm of your steps, the breeze on your skin, and the colors around you. This merges physical activity with a mental workout, sharpening your awareness and grounding you in the present moment. The result is often a relaxed mind that can process information more effectively. Emotionally, blending mental and physical practices can boost self-esteem and generate a sense of empowerment. Instead of feeling helpless about memory lapses, you adopt a proactive lifestyle that supports both the brain and body. This can reduce stress, a well-known culprit that worsens forgetfulness. Many seniors report feeling more in control of their lives once they discover that small, deliberate habits, like a short daily walk combined with brain-stimulating puzzles, can produce noticeable improvement in how they feel and function. If you find yourself hesitating to add a physical component, consider starting with just 5 minutes of gentle stretching each morning. Notice the effect on your mood and mental clarity. From there, you can gradually add more activities, perhaps a slow-paced dance class or aquatic exercises at a local pool. If you're worried about safety or have specific health conditions, always consult a qualified healthcare provider for personalized guidance. Now that we've explored the importance of early awareness, distinguishing normal forgetfulness, engaging in new learning opportunities, and the brain-body connection, let's take a moment to see where all this leads us. Picture a life in which your mild memory lapses no longer feel alarming or unmanageable. By recognizing them, addressing them, and proactively nurturing your mind and body, you can reshape your daily experiences and maintain a more fulfilling sense of independence. Before moving into our final reflections, think about which approach, monitoring your lapses, seeking professional input, starting a new hobby, or incorporating gentle exercise, resonates with you the most. Maybe there's one step you can begin today, even if it's as small as writing down that memory slip you had this morning. Every small action matters because it lays the foundation for a habit that could significantly improve your cognitive wellness over time. It's easy to feel unsettled when you notice those first signs of forgetfulness, but by now you've seen that dismissing mild memory lapses as just part of aging can leave you vulnerable to greater challenges. Instead, the path forward involves a few key actions. First, commit to recognizing and tracking even small changes, since early awareness gives you a tremendous advantage. Second, understand the difference between normal, age-related forgetfulness and lapses that may hint at a deeper issue. Third, engage in new, mentally stimulating activities to encourage your brain's adaptability. And finally, complement those efforts by incorporating physical activities tailored to your mobility level. If you've ever felt hesitant to try a new hobby or exercise routine, consider this your invitation to step past that hesitation. While none of us can guarantee perfect memory into advanced age, taking action sooner rather than later can tilt the odds in your favor. There's a window of opportunity, often broader and more forgiving than most people realize, where lifestyle adjustments can make a world of difference in how you think, feel, and live each day. It's important to address this now because the longer you wait, the greater the chance that mild lapses can spiral into more debilitating issues. Yet there's no need to panic or assume the worst. Think of this as an opportunity to empower yourself. By prioritizing brain health, you set the stage for enhanced daily functioning, everything from remembering your grandchildren's birthdays to staying engaged in meaningful conversations with friends. You might even discover new passions and abilities you never thought possible. Envision yourself a few months from now, looking back on this moment. Imagine having taken a proactive step. Perhaps you started a weekly painting class or decided to track your sleep better. Instead of feeling worried about misplacing your keys, you'll have strategies in place to help you maintain and even improve your mental clarity. This sense of progress can be deeply fulfilling, reminding you that the aging process, while inevitable, doesn't have to be limiting. So, here's what you can do right away. First, jot down any memory lapses you experienced in the last week. Rate how much they interfered with your daily life. If you notice a recurring pattern, consider sharing it with a healthcare provider or a trusted friend for an outside perspective. Next, pick at least one new activity that excites you. Schedule a time to do it in the coming week. This can be as simple as watching an online tutorial about a new craft or signing up for a gentle exercise session at your local community center. If you want to see how much you can improve, keep a brief journal and note any differences in your alertness, mood, or recall over time. For those eager to deepen this journey, look into specialized senior brain health programs or consult with a professional who focuses on cognitive well-being in older adults. If you're someone who wants an easy start, commit to just a small change, like setting a consistent bedtime or practicing 5 minutes of daily mindfulness. Every action, no matter how small, builds toward a healthier, more confident you. If you found this conversation helpful, consider sharing it with friends or family who might benefit from a new perspective on mild memory lapses. Perhaps you'll inspire them to keep their own memory logs or try out that new hobby they've been talking about for years. And if you feel ready, you could explore local clubs, senior centers, or online communities to connect with others who share your goal of staying mentally vibrant. Above all, remember that you have far more influence over your cognitive health than you might think. By acknowledging the early warning signs and choosing to act, you become the proactive steward of your own well-being. Rather than viewing memory lapses as an inevitable decline, see them as signals your brain uses to guide you toward healthier choices. This outlook not only empowers you to maintain a sharper mind, but also honors the wisdom and resilience you've gained throughout your life.